Welcome back to Real Roots Radio. We've had a lot of fun previewing SamJam 10. The SamJam Bluegrass Festival comes to the Pike County Fairgrounds in Pike County, Ohio this Labor Day weekend. We're so excited that it'll include a
Yeah.
headlining performance from the band Pure Prairie League, celebrating 55 years. So glad to welcome two guys that are a huge part of the Pure Prairie League story to the program today. Mike Riley and John Call. How are you fellas doing today?
We're great.
So good. This is John. We're great here too. Great.
Pure Prairie League, 55 years here in 2025, and it all got started in Waverly, Ohio, in Pike County. John, you were there from the beginning. Why don't you tell us how the band got started and why it's so important to have this homecoming show to celebrate 55 years?
And when Craig was 14 and I was 19 or so, Craig came back to town from Oregon. His daddy was a trucker, and he lived in somewhere out in Oregon and moved back to Waverly. And somehow we got together. I had a house on Cherry, so I was living over there with my parents. And Craig came over and we played some music with some local guys, Perry Shea, Jimmy Coughlin, who did the first Pure Prairie League album, playing drums. And this was before we called anything Pure Prairie League, but we played some music of the times, Louie Louie, and some things that Craig knew. Tommy McGrail walked in with a broom. He had a broom with, he says, 88 45 RPM records stuck over the handle of this broom. He had just moved back from Alaska the same day or almost. And that's the earliest that I remember that those of us who became Pure Prairie got together. That must have been 1967 or something.
Pure Prairie League, one of those influential kind of country rock bands from a really unique era of American music. Bands like Pure Prairie League and others like the Eagles and Poco were part of such a unique sound and a unique era in American music. Mike and John, what about that style of music that Pure Prairie League really kind of helped promote was so exciting and so appealing, especially when it kind of came about in the early to mid 1970s?
There was just such a blend of different people, different kinds of music. I was a Grand Ole Opry hillbilly country guy, and more than the other guys, and it just added up to almost more than the sum of the parts. Turned out so well.
I agree. At that time, it was just coming out of the folk music era, which was very influential in all those early country rock bands. Craig listened a lot to Merle Haggard and George Jones and people like that, and as of course so did John. And we took those influences and combined them with the rock and roll that we were playing, playing cover songs and that. And it basically was on the forefront of the genre that became known as country rock, which these days, today it's called Americana, but it was country rock before Americana was even a word.
You mentioned the Americana sounds of today. It's amazing how stuff kind of comes back around and comes full circle, because you're right. That country rock blend is back in vogue. And to see a sound you guys helped originate and start come back around again and be as popular now as ever before has to be really exciting to see.
Well, everything's on the wheel. It all comes around.
John, Mike mentions your country background. You bringing in steel guitar into the Pure Prairie League sound, such a linchpin in marrying the country and rock worlds. Why do you think that was so unique, especially at the time, to have a pedal steel player in a band that would kind of fit into the rock and roll category?
I think it was somewhat with happenstance. Craig's mother and my mother were high school buddies in the 1930s, right here in Waverly, and for us to get together and meld the country influences that I had, and somewhat less so, but also Craig, it just came together as the best things in life I'm finding out are unpredictable, and that sure was too.
Pure Prairie League has had such an original sound with this country rock hybrid, but they've also had an original brand as well. Just as much a part of the Pure Prairie League image is the music. Sad Luke from the Norman Rockwell catalog is a big part of your guys' brand and image as well. Where did the idea come to work in this Norman Rockwell character? And why did it become such a staple of the band's image and brand that it's still being utilized, 55 years later, and people see that character, they think Pure Prairie League?
We were doing the first record album at RCA Studios in New York City, and it right in front of the mixing console. In those days, especially, there's a couch out there and a slanted glass window, and I was sitting down on that couch looking at a Norman Rockwell collection of Saturday Evening Post covers with a girl that worked at the studio, and we was looking through the pages and saw this cowboy sitting there holding a record, and that was it. I mean, it took a few seconds. This has got to be it. So our producer and I, and probably she, and probably Craig, took this to the president upstairs of RCA. He was there, and it happened just like that. They got in touch with the Rockwell people and made the arrangements, and then the record albums over the years have made variations on that same cowboy sitting holding the record. In fact, the Two Lane Highway record is the same negative turned upside down, so it's left-handed, and him holding a canteen instead of a record, or thumbing down the highway instead of holding that record. It's pretty good, the way that all happened. And once again, all the happenstance things just turned out to fit.
It's amazing that the iconic image that's been part of the band's brand for so long, the idea kind of just came by happenstance. It's also amazing that the record executives were able to get it pulled off with the Rockwell people, with Norman Rockwell being one of America's most beloved artists. That's amazing, that how that all fell into place. That's great.
The record company was big boys too, like Rockwell. RCA was a big deal. And I'm sure some arrangements were made among the big guys. But
the art director was named A.C. Lehman, and he was a friend of Rockwell's. So he initiated the contact. And Rockwell, of course, was thrilled to have us use the cover. RCA Records had to pay the Saturday Evening Post to use that cover and the script of Pure Prairie League in Saturday Evening Post's font. But AC was the guy that got that all started, and it was branding before that was a term also. We're old school. We're
totally. It's also cool how even after your guys' relationship with RCA, you guys moved on from RCA, that relationship between the Pure Prairie League branding and the Norman Rockwell style of art with Sad Luke has still kind of been your guys' unofficial mascot. That's amazing how that relationship and partnership has continued to grow even without RCA all these years later.
Well, he's more like the sixth Beatle. He's a member of the band, Sad Luke. And so that's why he's on all the covers. And that's why we stick with him. He's been a loyal, true friend over the years, and we like to pay our respects.
We're chatting with Mike Riley and John Call of the band Pure Prairie League. Pure Prairie League headlines SamJam 10 this coming Labor Day weekend. They'll be returning to Pike County, Ohio, where it all began 55 years ago. With all this time that has passed since the band started, what does it mean to see such a demand for the band's iconic sound and see that carried on with this new generation of Pure Prairie League members that just keep things right on a humming with this great classic country rock sound that we've all enjoyed for so many years?
Well, I think it's I think it's just a testament to the good taste of the listening public that they support our kind of music and our particular brand of music over all these years. The fans have been extremely loyal and extremely supportive, and through all those years, all the changes, musically, personnel-wise, everything else, our fans have been steadfast and loyal, and we owe it all to them.
We're really excited for the show. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. Pure Prairie League even touring in support of a brand new album called Back on Track. Mike, I know that you were a huge part of the band's sound on bass for so many years. What was it like being in the producer chair, kind of shepherding this new project to fruition, that's kind of keeping this classic sound going with a new crop of Pure Prairie Leaguers?
Well, it was, I didn't feel like we had anything really to prove, let alone much to say for a little while. I mean, it was 19 years since our last record, but it was just a natural progression. The new guys, Jared Kamick and Jeff Zona, brought some tunes in. They said, "Let's do an EP." And after listening to the songs, I said, "Hell, let's do an album." And you know, it started in July of 23. We worked a week a month for a year, and finished it up in July of 24. And you know, just my transition from bassist and vocalist to the producer's chair was a natural one, because I've always been involved in the records and the sound, and trying to make sure that no matter who we had producing, that you know, that they would stick to we would stick to our guns, and they would stick to our, you know, our type of music, and not try changing us up. RCA did that, and we left.
There you go. There you go. Uh, John, what was it like for you being in the studio with these new members of the band, and you being, you know, one of the OGs, one of the founding forces behind this great sound? What's it like melding, you know, your background with these new folks who are obviously largely influenced by the sound and have such a passion for seeing it carried on?
Well, that's pretty easy to answer. The new guys are all Nashville A-lister studio guys, monster musicians, and the sound today reflects every bit of that, and such a thrill. It was great. It was absolutely technically an amazing combination of talent and expertise and experience. And the vocals are great. They're just great players, and it was such a pleasure and an honor to be, you know, across all these years to get together with somebody of that caliber and of such a newer way of thinking. But they sure do keep on our traditional sound of us with all that capability, musical capability. It was a hoot, and I'm glad we have a good copy of that on the new record. It was great.
It's exciting, you know, the new album Back on Track. Some of the new songs, like I Believe I Could Fall in Love, Picture Perfect Life, you know, they sound great right alongside so many Pure Prairie classics, Pure Prairie League classics like Amy and I'll Be Damned and That'll Be the Day and Two Lane Highway. So that's got to be great to see them all meld together. And you'll see all these songs, favorites from the past and from the present, this Saturday in Pike County, Ohio, as Pure Prairie League returns home to Pike County for SamJam 10. Folks can learn more at samjambluegrass.com. That's samjambluegrass.com. Come see Pure Prairie League. And something tells me you'll probably have some merchandise with Sad Luke on it that folks can take home too. Right, Mike?
There's a good chance. Yeah, I'd say so.
Fantastic. PurePrairieLeague.com. Check out the new album Back on Track. Don't miss the chance to see these living legends on stage at SamJam 10 this Saturday, Labor Day weekend, Pike County, Ohio. Mike and John, thank you guys so much for joining us on Real Roots Radio.
Daniel, thanks.
We'll see everybody there. It'll be great.
Yep,
Thanks.
looking forward to it.